Do you have a really good cyber compliance program built over the years with loads of effort? Let me tell you something as an auditor with 20 years experience. It's going to fail. All compliance programs fail. Want to know more? Well, join me when I'm going to explain why compliance program is simply the wrong culture. I'm going to explain why you won't win without real charter. I'll explain why compliance programs always fail, and I'll explain why should do is better than must do. On this session, we're going to explain three things. Number one, why you're not going to win without charter. Number two, why compliance programs always fail. And number three, why should do is better than must do. The title of this session is Why Cybersecurity Starts with CEOs, and it's a fairly obvious statement, I think. There's not many of us would disagree that without charter, without the permission of the senior team, we would never achieve anything. No budget, no authority to act. I've been working with one of our customers for over 3 years to build a corporate governance program to get the charter that we need to create the SOC and set up a CISO and have a CISM and an architect and an audit and a pen test and all those good things. It takes a long time for a large business to change, doesn't it? But after 3 years of hard work, we're at a maturity level where we have the strategies and steering committees set up, where we have people in role. And at this stage, I'm sitting on their ARC committee, the Audit and Risk Committee. I'm acting as a cyber subject matter expert for them. This is my first year of tenure in this particular customer, and it came up for annual review of the risk appetite statement. I'm looking forward to reading this. I haven't actually read what the company's overall risk strategy was for cyber as yet. How disappointed was I when I read it and it literally said, we don't have any. The actual statement said, we have no risk appetite for cyber attacks. And you're just shaking your head. We know we can't achieve that. I never signed up to deliver that. So we have to scratch your heads and think, hang on, I've been working with this company for 3 years to build charter, to build the permission and the enthusiasm, the momentum to make these changes we know we need. What's gone wrong? There has to be something that we're not doing right if they misunderstand the problem to that degree. I mean, what are they looking for? What's their job? Why have they came to this conclusion? Every board has a fiduciary duty, doesn't it? Your senior leadership team. A duty to act independently, to act in the best interest of the business, to always make decisions that are going to improve and support the business strategy. The fiduciary duties. We summarize the fiduciary duties into things that we should do and things that we must do. The things that we should do, due care and due diligence, the things that make us a stronger, better, more profitable company, the things that have a return on investment. And there's also the things that we must do. Laws, regulation, compliance. You see, charter is about making sure that your board understands what we're looking to accomplish. And what we're looking to accomplish is not compliance. Information security and cyber is not something you must do. It's something you should be doing. There's a difference. Have a little think. As an auditor, I go out and I see different companies all the time, and you get to see different methods and different solutions and different mistakes. I've never audited ISO 9000, the quality standard, but I've seen it in many different companies, many different auditees. And I've always been puzzled that there seems to almost be two ISO 9000 quality standards, because some companies implement it in a very poor lip service way, And some companies embed it into the very fabric, into the very culture of the organization. You know what I'm talking about. You've dealt with companies that have real, true quality at the very heart of what they do, and the others that merely pay lip service. You see, why is that? In my opinion, one of them is seen as a compliance requirement, and in the other company, it's seen as something you should do, not as something you must do. If you implement something as a compliance process, the best way to implement it within a business is cheaply and quickly to the minimum amount. It's not good for the company, it's merely something you must do. You meet your legal and regulatory obligations to the minimum amount. You don't volunteer to pay more taxes every year. You calculate it down to the lowest possible amount and you pay that. You don't give them a bit extra just in case. A compliance requirement is a minimal effort. The company with the real ISO 9000 has shifted it in terms of charter with the board from something they must do to something they should do. Something that's going to create value, something that's going to improve the business, something that's going to enable growth. You're not going to win without charter. And through charter is when your board realizes this is something we should be doing to be a better, more profitable business. It is not a tick box exercise for compliance. Why do compliance programs fail? Because you're supposed to do them cheaply with the minimum amount of effort. That's best value. We've got to shift the paradigm. We've got to shift the focus. How many of you are sitting out there right now in companies where information security is something you must do? It's a compliance requirement. You get time at the board, you get a bit of budget, you get a bit of lip service. But it's not really at the heart of what you do. How do we achieve this? How do you go about changing this? You see, it's not about protection. It's about business success. I'm a former academic director in ISACA here in Ireland. And ISACA owns something called COBIT, a corporate governance platform, a framework. And I absolutely love it because it's all about not protection, but business success. I'm teaching a CISM this week, and we just did those modules today on corporate governance and value creation and strategy. Stuff I love, because that's what we're there to do, to create a better business, not simply look for compliance. Why does cybersecurity start with CEOs? Because you have to embed it into the very fabric of what the business does. The charter that you need is more substantive than simply a compliance charter. That's why compliance programs always fail, and why this is something we should do, not something you must do. How do you make that transfer? How do you make the change? Well, when it's something you should do, there's only one thing that it must deliver: value. You have to be able to proposition your risk and your service as a way to increase value to the business. You've got to generate a return on the investment. How do you do that? I'm afraid that's going to be one I'll have to explain on another day, because this session was about why cybersecurity starts with CEO, why it's about culture and not compliance. And we explained why you won't win without charter, why compliance programs fail, and why should do is better than must do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do enjoy it, please do follow along and subscribe and like me. You know, all those usual social media stuff. But for me, two things. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe join me again.